Hey gang, welcome to another edition of Doc Schlock by Request, where it's a review of the movie Amityville 1992. It's about time. And this request comes to us from fellow YouTuber Killer Nerd 75, and it is the movie that is the 6th installment of the Amityville series. Honestly, at first I thought it was the 5th installment. But no, it is actually the 6th. So, yeah. So if anybody tries to confuse you, tell them, no, it's number 6. And then tell them to go buy a clock and bash their own skulls in for not knowing that. It's a movie about a man who comes back home, and he has his ex-girlfriend living with him, and she's taking care of his 2 kids, named Flopsy and Mopsy. No, that's not right. I'm sorry. It's actually Lisa and Rusty. And the father's name's Jacob, and he has his ex-girlfriend, Andrea, living with him. And he brings a clock back from a job that he had in Amityville. Now, obviously, somebody in this movie must have wanted these people to play like they were complete morons, as if they don't know anything about what happened in Amityville, but oh well. Brings a clock on home, and the clock just pretty much wedges itself on the mantle where he puts the clock at, and that's when everything starts going wrong. Jacob starts to change, the daughter Lisa starts to change, and poor Andrea is the only one who seems to be sane, and Rusty starts skipping school quite often. Yeah, that's real bad, huh? Anyway, the clock decides to do hallucinations and messes with people. There's an old woman who lives in the neighborhood, and her name is Iris. Her name's Iris, and she pretty much knows something about the clock. But sort of like a death out of one of the Final Destination movies, apparently her death comes by way of this bird that's standing on top of this guy's van that falls down and beaks her right in the chest. Yeah. Where are these clocks coming from? Anyway, the end of the movie comes when Andrea decides to try and destroy the clock, but the clock does not want to be destroyed. But she winds up tearing the walls down and finds out there's some gears and stuff like that in the clock. So she winds up busting open a gas main, lights a match, or lights something up, I can't remember what it was, and blows the house up. And then the clock decides to turn back the hands of time to the night where Jacob brought the clock home. There's all sorts of idiotic deaths in this movie. Lisa's boyfriend melts into the floor. Andrea finds goo laying beside her in her bed. So yeah, and the ending was pretty bad. So it goes back to where it all started at, with Jacob bringing the clock in, and Andrea smashes the clock into pieces. Jacob asks her why, and she says pretty much along the lines of, because it's about time. And the movie kind of ends with Rusty looking out the window and seeing Iris, the old lady who apparently died, but she's fine. They smile at each other, and it results in a very happy ending. And I wish I could say I was happy about this movie, but it was not all that good. And so I don't know how on earth to really end this review, except for saying that if you like my videos, feel free to subscribe. And if you have a horror movie, sci-fi, comedy horror, fantasy horror, would you like for me to review, send it this way. Special thanks to Killer Nerd 75 for his request. Till next time, stay strong and rock on. I knew I shouldn't have had those burritos for lunch.